Hello everyone, welcome to the orbit of the coding. So today I am going to explain date and time function in SQL Server. So date and time function are play a very significant role, especially when you are working on any type of project which is uh, based on date and time, like online examination system. It calculate uh, the time of that particular examination, and it's and also if you working on like Indian Railway project, reporting project, then date and time play a vital role on this, and it is very useful if you are aware about date and time functions. So just flip into the SQL Server management system, and I'm going to explain more about date and time functions. Here you can see I already create some content over there, so you have save some time and you get more picture clear about that particular functions. So today I'm going to explain sys utc date time functions, current time stamp functions, get date function, get utc date function, day, month, year, dat div, dat add, and isDate functions, right? So here you can see that I'm already created some date of time. So if you use current time span, so actually this function is used to get current date and time value without including the time zone offset, right? So if you use current time span, so it return the get date and time, but it's not prefer to the time zone offset, right? And if you use get date, this function is also get the system current date and time on which SQL Server is installed. So, so SQL is get date is return the data type functions where SQL Server is installed on your machines, and get UTC date time function. This function is used to get the current UTC date and time value as a integer. And sys UTC date time function. This function is used to get system current time value based on the UTC time spent, and at it return as integer. So if I'm going to show you to quickly explain here, you can see that. So get data return the system current date and time where SQL Server install. It return the UTC time format, and time span it return the current date and time value without it's not depend without including a time zone. It's not including time zone over here. And sys UTC it's return the system get end time, but it include the UTC time and return an integer value. So once I perform all the query, then you can see the exact difference between them. So here you can see that current time spam it's return the date and time of that, but it's not including the any it's not including the like time zones. But we are in our system we have system or current date time zone is the same, that's why it rated the same value. But it's in without including the time zone, and it's return the current date and time which is installed in the SQL Server system. And like if you are using any remote desktop, right? So remote desktop is presented on the USA, right? So when and on the remote desktop your SQL Server install on the remote desktop, right? So once you return the get time, then they return the not on your present date time, it's return the remote server get and time because SQL Server is installed on that particular system. And current time spam, like I already say, it's written the current date and time value without including the time zone offset. It's not including the time zone offset over here. And you here you can see that get UTC date, it return the UTC date time format. So it's the date and it's return the UTC. Here you can see the time 2 o'clock. And and sys UTC date time system, it's again is return the system data time system. So if I explain in the one liner, sys date time system, it return the system date time system, and get UTC date time system, it return the time where SQL Server is installed. So that is minor difference between them, right? And but it sometimes it's play a very important role if you get stuck any error which is based on the time zone, but your time is reflecting wrong. Then UTC system get time and get date is uh, a very important, it's a very small thing, but it's play a very important role, right? If you have stuck any kind of defects which is based on the system times or SQL Server install time, it's taking a lot of times to find out the root cause of the issue. But sometimes it's issue is very minor. So if you aware about that particular things, definitely you resolve this issue quickly. Next, I'm going to explain you day, month, year. What is that? So I have already created some query to save time. So here you can see that it's clear about the day, month, year. So it returned the integer corresponding to the day specified, month, return the month specified, year. So if you have a date, suppose 20, today date is 25 Feb 2023. So in that particular date, if you need to if you need to get only day, month, year from that date time format, or if you need to get hours, minutes, then you can use and get that particular thing. So here I can see you, if I need only a day, how many days, so you can see that. So it's 25 days, as today days is 25, and I can see only month, which month are you getting there. So you can see that 2 months, and if every month is there, I need to get a year. You can see that monthly is get return the year, right? So once I perform all the things, so you can see the result. Here you can see. So today date is 25 Feb 2023, but I need to only date, day, 25 day, month, February, year. It's written the separate, right? So in this sit on this topic, but if you go to the like what is date diff and date it function, so I'm going to explain. So basically, date diff, it's written the difference between two dates. But if you need to assign a one parameter, that is interval, right? First parameter is interval, then you assign two dates if you want to get the difference between them. So interval may be day, year, month, hours, minute, etc. Have the interval. So I just showing you the examples. I need to difference a day between two date, right? So I just pass the first parameter day and assign the date. Here you can see that the result is 30. So usually I suggest you to prefer this type of format, string slashes format, the better understanding of the SQL compiler, so it's not getting some conversation. So if you remove that particular things, then you can get definitely conversion issues over there, because it's not correctly identify the particular things. So once, so here you can say that I get the return from the date. Oops. So here you can see that, so it's written the year because 25 2020. But once I remove that particular string types, right? So here you can see that we definitely get some because or we don't have get any correct results. Here you can see that uh, we have zero because it's not identify that particular format. So you need to follow that format, string format, and then SQL engines definitely get the better result over there, like that. And similarly, date add is also used a similar kind of date diff. If you need to add any date from the current date, so you need to add use date add functions over there. So I need to suppose today date is 25 February, so I need to add 3 more days in our requirements, or I need to get any calculation 3 more days to add. Then you can pass the interval day and pass the integer values and pass the current date time over there, and here you can see that you can get today's date is 25, but I added 3, so you can get 28 Feb over there. So that's it on date diff and date add and month year on this. Next, I'm going to show you what is date function, right? Is date function is also play a very important role. So I'm going to explain. So is date is basically it's return integer value, and it's return 1 if the date is valid, and it's return 0 if date is not valid. So it's very simple. It's any kind of any type of, like in C sharp you can use boolean type of statement, true false return. But here in that statement, is date returns 1 value if date is valid, and returns 0 if date is invalid. So here you can see that. So in each date I just pass the get date function, so that date is valid over here, so it's returned the 1 value, but I assign a null because it's not a valid particular date, so it's returned a 0. So that's it from this video. Now if you have any query, or if you need any if you provide any suggestions over the video, you can put the comment box, and I am ready to resolve the particular issue. So happy learning guys. Thank you. Thank you.